Hey, what's up, anybody and everybody? Welcome to the Politically Incorrect Ed's Saturday night live stream. How's everybody holding up out there? And we're live. Every time I try to check it. Well, you get an ad, that's a good thing. There we go, okay. So, hey, Michael Cross, crank her up. What am I going to crank up? What am I going to crank up, dude? I ain't going to crank nothing up. My mic's working. It's working just fine. How's everybody holding up under the circumstances? Are you doing okay? This stuff is really starting to get to people. Really and truly and literally. It's starting to get to people. And I fully intended today to go live with Linda and play for you all. And she's in there playing her bass now. But my friend Jerry brought over the neck to that Legacy. Come to find out, some bitch, he was totally wrong. That guitar is a 1992 Legacy, G&L Legacy. The guitar that he had that was a 1974 or whatever was a damn Music Man that he had before the Legacy, and he wore the frets out on that, got the Legacy in the 90s and like 92 and has been playing that G&L. He had a Music Man. And I asked him, Jerry, where's the Music Man? He goes, well, I ran out of money one time and I had to sell that on eBay. I went, oh, God. But anyway, he brought the neck over today and dropped that off. And I did a light fret dressing and polishing on it for him to take a little bit of the dents out and polish them up a little bit. And then he came back, got it, took it away. I said, put the guitar together tonight. Let me know. And he goes, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll put it back together tomorrow. So that guitar is not nearly as old as I thought it was. I thought it was a lot older. It's a 92, and it's stamped right on the neck. 1990 or 92. Stamped right on there. So you can tell. But still, a hell of a guitar. Great guitar. And I remember the Music Man that he had because it looks so much like the G&L. It was a black Strat type guitar. So what it is. Squire, I watched your thing today. And you know what? While I was hey, Expendable Pond, while I was dressing the frets on that neck, I got nominated on Facebook by Ken Boudreau, thank you, Ken, to post 7 album covers that have influenced me in my life with no explanation. You post them, and then you get to nominate 7 more people to have to post an album cover for 7 days. So, hey, Dwight, so I saw your video today, too. And the first one that I thought of, and I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why I thought of this, but I grew up with this record, was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, The Lonely Bull. And I still have it. I've got the CD. And it's a long story about how much I actually had to listen to that record. It was like I was forced to listen to it because it was in the record stack of a place that I worked at during the summer, and it played over and over and over, day after day for 10 years. So I got pounded with that. And it was just music that I always enjoyed. Well, that was the first one I posted. Well, the second one I posted, I was looking through stuff and I posted the album cover to Humble Pie Live, Rockin' the Fillmore. And that's a double album. So it's like 2 hours, or better of music. And I got that neck, and fortunately for me, he brought it over straight and all taped off. The neck was already taped off for me. It's a maple neck, but he had already taped everything off and, it had the frets exposed and everything. All I had to do was mark them, sand them, crown them, and polish them. And just lightly. We didn't want to take a whole lot off because they've been dressed a couple times and, I don't want to go too far. Well, I clicked on that Humble Pie full album and listened to that whole damn album all the way through. And I remember now why I love Humble Pie so much with Steve Marriott, Peter Frampton, Greg Ridley, and Jerry Shirley. Just one of, hands down, hi Merrill, hi Craig, one of the best, hands down, rock bands from back in the day to ever come down the pike. And you cannot beat Steve Marriott as a rock and roll singer, man. Because, he started off as an actor as a young kid, and he played Oliver in Oliver Twist. He played the Artful Dodger. He was the Artful Dodger. And as a kid, he played that, in kind of a big production in London. And then he became part of a band that I can't remember what it was. Then he got into the Small Faces with Denny Lane, who ended up being, a longtime partner of Paul McCartney, with Denny Lane on bass, and did that. And then as the story goes, I guess, the Small Faces just got a little too pop for him. And we're going in too much of a pop direction. And that brought about Humble Pie. Peter Frampton was like 17 or 18 years old when he started playing with Humble Pie and was good. Was as good of a guitar player as he needed to be outstanding with that band. He just amazing. But so the first one I posted was that, Lonely Bull by Herb Alpert. Then I posted the next day, today, I posted the Humble Pie. Tomorrow, I am going to post, and, I'll probably get around to posting like some Led Zeppelin, Led Zeppelin 2, maybe Led Zeppelin 1. Led Zeppelin 2 is always my favorite Led Zeppelin album, but Led Zeppelin 1 may have had more influence on me initially. But one of my favorite albums was Mott the Hoople, Mott, with All the Way from Memphis, All the Young Dudes. I loved Mott the Hoople. Yeah, I like Badfinger a lot. Badfinger is a sad ass story was his name Jack Ham? His name was Ham. And those guys got so screwed over by the record company. Hey, Dog Putt. Got so screwed over by the record company that two of those guys hung themselves. And I mean, what a sad story, you know? That's just awful. But Badfinger could possibly be one of them because I love that song, Baby Blue. And No Matter What You Are, I always liked. Yeah, they got absolutely screwed over. Hey, Metalhead Hippie, how's it going? Yeah, Badfinger, that was just a sad story. And their songs were so good, you know? Their songs were absolutely great. You know who is another here's another album I've got to put on. Three Dog Night. What was the name of the album? Biscuits. Double Biscuits or Hi Metalhead Hippie. Guitar Meets Science. Hey, the Three Dog Night album, Golden Biscuits, that was it. Chuck Negron was the most popular number one singer of the day. Don't touch your face. Number one singer of the day. And he gets strung out on fucking cocaine and ruins the whole goddamn thing. Three Dog Night just ruined it. Absolutely ruined it. And never made the comeback that you would expect or want or would think that he would be able to do. It never happened. So there's one I got to put up. I'm going to put up Mott the Hoople, Mott, because Ian Hunter, I just loved him. And Mick Ralphs, and that just the whole Mott the Hoople thing. I was into that. I was into the suits and the platform boots. Oh dear, oh no, oh my, oh my, oh my. I was just into the whole Mott the Hoople thing. The big hair and the glasses, and it was just, I loved Mott the Hoople. And I loved All the Way from Memphis and all the young dudes and all the other stuff they did. Roll Away the Stone and the golden age of rock and roll. All that stuff was just great. I'm going to have to put up that Golden Biscuits thing by Three Dog Night. Because this is stuff, Three Dog Night, that was stuff like, you know, you're going back elementary school. You know, Mama Told Me Not to Come, Joy to the World, the ink is black, the page is white, together we learn to read and write, you know, all that stuff. And so, you know, that goes back to me listening to Led Zeppelin or listening to any of the rock. But now another rock album that I definitely, hey Wrecker, that I definitely got to put in there is the first Montrose album. Mama Told Me Not to Come. I was just talking about that song. But anyway, you know, I was halfway, you guys, in setting this up through StreamYard. And I was all ready to do it through StreamYard. And I thought, you know what? It's 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. There ain't going to be anybody around. I didn't think I'd have anybody in here. Nah, I'm sorry I didn't do it. But the first Montrose album with, you know, Sammy Hagar singing and Ronnie Montrose playing. And that is the first guitar album where I literally learned every song on the record. I learned every song on the record and learned to play. Either I copied the solo note for note, or I learned to play some faction of the solo some way that I could play it. And then Montrose's second album, Warner Brothers Presents, where Sammy Hagar left because he only did one album. Sammy did one album. Then they got a guy named Denny Carmassi that was the singer, and he didn't sound. He had a voice like Hager, but he didn't have the balls. He didn't have the scream that Hager had. He didn't have the power, but he had the range and kind of the tone that Hager had. And they did some good songs like 20 Flight Rock. They did a song called Matriarch. They did a song called Whaler. They did a song called Lucky Man. Paper Money was another great record. And Dogpa, I'm pretty sure, check this out. Sammy didn't sing that record, did he? That was the other guy. Sammy only did the one record, right? He didn't do Paper Money, I don't think. Have to check that out. But that was another album, Montrose. So far I've got Herb Alpert, Lonely Bull, Humble Pie, Rockin' the Fillmore Live, double album. I'm going to put up Mott by Mott the Hoople. That's 3. My 4th one is definitely going to be Rubber Soul by the Beatles, because that was when my first exposure to the Beatles was like on 45s on singles. And my brother brought home the 2 Beatle albums, the 2 compilation albums, the red one and the blue one, where they're standing in that parking garage or whatever, or that hotel, and they're looking out over the ledge, and you see them like in 67 to blah, 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 and then the later one. Well, Revolver's a good one too, but Rubber Soul, one of my friends gave me the Rubber Soul album. And that was the first Beatle album that I had that was not like a greatest hits or a compilation, that was like a concept record, was Rubber Soul. And the second one that I got would have been the White Album. So I could go with the White Album, but I got Rubber Soul first and probably listened to it more or as much. Hey, Aiden, how you doing? It's good to see you, man. Take on a White Album jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, all right. That's funny. Okay. Well, Bruce, you weren't, you had to be. Dark Side of the Moon came out. I had to be about 14. That had to be about 74? So I had to be about 14, and I was already heavily smoking dope. That's the Who, Live at Leeds. I was already heavily smoking dope. And, Quadrophenia could be on there. Dark Side of the Moon, I might have to add that in the 7. That might have to go into the 7. But so far, I've got Herb Alpert, The Lonely Bull, Humble Pie, Rockin' the Fillmore. I'm going to put up Mott, Rubber Soul. I got 3 left. One of them has to be a Guess Who album, and it's probably going to be Share the Land, which was my favorite Guess Who record. So that leaves me with 2. That's going to leave me with 2. And I'm not going to pick them right away. And normally when people do this stupid challenge on Facebook, you got to do 10. And, if you did 20, it wouldn't matter, because you just keep coming up with records. You just keep coming up with records. You just keep coming up with records. How can I not put Couldn't Stand the Weather in there by Stevie Ray Vaughan? I mean, that shaped my guitar playing all through the 80s and 90s. I spent the whole 80s and 90s trying to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan. How could I not, but that was later. I'm thinking young and impressionable, way back. When I was a young kid, I didn't give a shit about blues. B.B. King or that Johnson guy that sold his soul at the crossroads. any of that stuff. I was not into that. I wasn't into Bo Diddley. I wasn't into Buddy Guy. I wasn't into any of that stuff until much, much, much later on. Janice, how you doing? Texas Flood is the other one. You know, it could be either Couldn't Stand the Weather or Texas Flood, either one of those records. And so, but then again, that's something that came along later. That was in the 80s. Now when I think about it, my brain just clicked. I'm probably going to have to pick an Elvis Costello album, and it'll probably be Get Happy. I'll have to post the Get Happy album, because when Elvis Costello hit, the Ramones were big, the Sex Pistols, all that shit was going punk, and Devo and them came out. Then Elvis Costello came out, and they considered him like new wave or punk, but he was a whole different type. I mean, the guy could write lyrics. He was a lyrical genius as far as I was concerned. Alice Cooper, you know, but mine would have to be Killer. My album with Alice Cooper would have to be Killer, or just Alice Cooper. It would Love It to Death. It would either have to be Love It to Death or Killer for Alice Cooper. See, there's not enough days in the week to do all the albums. If you do it, if you only do 7, you know. So, because as soon as you think of something, you think of something else. Then you think of something else. Then you think of something else. And that's not even going into LA Woman would have to be really in there. I'd have to put LA Woman in there. You know, it just goes on and on. There were the Animals, the Zombies, the Doors. That doesn't even get into the Motown stuff that I was listening to at the time. The Supremes. And I was considered Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I was called them Motown. I always put them in there with Motown because they sounded like the Supremes or the Four Tops or you know, the Miracles. And there was all that stuff in the 60s. So you had all that. Then you had Roy Orbison, you know, writing pop hits in the early 60s. You know, so there's so much stuff. And trying to narrow down your influences, you know, what are your influences? That's a tough thing. That can be a tough thing, you know. And where are you now? What are you listening to now? And I watching some of these big guitar channels, they're talking about Chris Kane as a blues player. And I had never found Chris Kane. I had never heard Chris Kane. So the other day, not long ago, Norman's Rare Guitars posted a video of a bunch of guys in his store playing old 60s, 50s, and 60s ES335s and Les Pauls, and Chris Kane plays an ES335. And Chris Kane was on that video. So I said, all right. So I go look Chris Kane up. And like, yeah, the guy's good. The guy is really, really good. But I didn't have one of those oh shit moments, you know, because I didn't hear him do anything Buddy Guy hadn't already done. B.B. King hadn't already done. Stevie Ray Vaughan certainly hadn't already done. And some of these other guys, he's just newer on the scene. You know, and so the stuff that I heard him doing was mostly old blues covers. And I'm not one that's big on old blues covers per se. You know, I'm not a big fan of that. If you're gonna do old blues covers and you're gonna cover like old J.J. Cale songs like Eric Clapton did, you've got to make me believe that they're yours. You've got to convince me that they're yours. They can't come on, man. Who's the guy that sold his soul at the crossroads? Come on, help me out. I'm having a hard time here because I don't think about this that often. Not Eric Johnson, Blind Melon Chitlin. Oh, come on. Who was the guy? You guys aren't listening anymore because you're not answering my question. Robert Johnson. Thank you, Janice. Robert Johnson. You know, I've heard people cover Robert Johnson songs and like, nah, you know, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it for me. Yeah, you got to own them. You got, you know, when I heard Eric Clapton play The Breeze, when I heard Eric Clapton play Cocaine, when I heard Eric Clapton play After Midnight, anything like that, I believed it was his. I believed that was his song. He wrote it. He owned it. And come to find out, they were J.J. Cale. You know, and you go back and you listen to J.J. Cale, and I'm like, no, I like Eric better. You know, and that's another thing. I've been listening very, very heavily to the Joe Bonamassa Live YouTube channel, where he just broadcasts videos of his live performances, like at Albert Hall and all these places. And I'm telling you, when he is on, when Joe Bonamassa is on, and right now, my favorite song to listen to right now that I'm trying to learn, I've already learned it. I'm trying to make it work for me, is Joe Bonamassa's version of Mainline Florida, which is an Eric Clapton song off of the one with the palm tree, 29 Palms or whatever. I think it's off that album. And that, it's going to sound like crap here. It's going to sound like crap, but it's. Mainline Florida, oh yeah. That is just such a cool riff. Go listen to Mainline Florida, either by Eric Clapton or Joe Bonamassa, either one. But listen to them both and compare them. Joe don't mess with it too much. You know, he doesn't change anything. He plays a hell of a lot more guitar in it than Eric does, because he does like a 5-minute solo. But that's great. You know, Joe plays the kind of lead that I can just listen to. You know, I can listen to. what was the one? Denis Dunaway was one of Alice Cooper's guitar players, wasn't he? Denis Dunaway. There's legend has it that one of his original guitar players was from Madison, Ohio, the town next to where I grew up. It would have been just like about 10 years older than me. But I don't know who that is. I got no clues. But, you know, my first exposure to Alice Cooper was, I'm 18 and I like it. And that's really an easy song to play, to be honest with you. You got to have a harmonica. You got to have somebody who can play harmonica on it. What rocks? Well, all right, listen. What I Say by Ray Charles, that. All right, Aiden, here's something for you to do. Listen to Ray Charles play his song, Hallelujah, I Love Her So. Then go listen to Humble Pie do Hallelujah, I Love Her So. And that might give you an idea of how you can approach the song without making it yours, but without totally destroying it and discrediting it. Because I hate when somebody redoes a song and you don't recognize it for the original song that it was until you're like, you get halfway through it or something you recognize and you go, oh, holy shit, that's, you know, this song. And I'm 18. I actually thanked Alice for writing that song. That's cool. Alice Cooper is really, really a rock and roll historian. He is a true rock and roll historian. He was around, you know, as early in the 70s as you could be doing it and on the radio and writing hits. And so, you know, he was there under my wheels. All right, Metalhead Hippie, thanks for stopping in, man. Thank you. Always a pleasure to see you. Always a pleasure to see everybody. I got 5 thumbs down. Those are probably people that I have blocked. And I haven't blocked anybody in like gadzooks eons, you know? It's been forever. I did block one dumbass yesterday, but I know who it was. It was somebody under another account trying to make a statement. But anyway, you know, when it comes, I talk about this a lot. I talk about influences, what influenced you, what you listened to when you were a kid. There were a couple of years in the 90s where I didn't listen to anything but Marshall Crenshaw. I got my hands on like 3 Marshall Crenshaw records. That was all I listened to, you know, because there just wasn't anything good coming out. But yeah, Iggy. I mean, I liked Iggy, but I like him more on TV than I did his music. I had trouble with Iggy's music. I never liked vulgar or painful lyrics. I always liked lyrics that like said something, took you somewhere, had some meaning to it. I was never into the shock shit, you know? And I know I'm going to piss some people off. And it's okay because you're allowed. Roxy Music is another one. Yeah, they were an eye-opener. No, Primus, I don't listen to Primus. No, I wouldn't, couldn't, shouldn't. 62 years old. Come on, man. People that were influenced. The Mercurial #6 did a video today about what is the greatest live album ever. And that's why I thought of that Humble Pie record, because in my mind, that's one of the greatest live albums ever. Somebody fucking put in there, Kiss Alive, hands down. I did not like Kiss when I was a kid. I did not like Kiss later on when I started playing in rock bands. I didn't like Kiss when they took the makeup off. I didn't like Kiss. And I don't like Kiss. And the only thing, and Bebop Deluxe was cool. The only thing that I can say Kiss influenced me was to not listen to Kiss. That was Kiss's big influence on me, was not listen to Kiss, not play an axe-shaped guitar, and not wear makeup. Oh my God. Yes, Kiss songs are Kiss songs. And then how can I not put Masters of Reality or Paranoid or just the Black Sabbath album on that list? That was the first hard rock. Then here we go again. Now I'm stuck because Grand Funk. Grand Funk, Heartbreaker, I'm Your Captain, Mean Mistreater, Feeling All Right. American Band. Jimmy Biter, thank you for not faulting me for having a personal preference, and Kiss is not in my personal preference. Jimmy, 80s era Kiss was pretty bad, especially Lick It Up. Yeah, Kiss, Love Gun. That I will admit, I did buy one record. Wow, you saw Montrose live, Ronnie Montrose. He was my guitar hero for a long years and years and years. I loved Ronnie Montrose. Then he had a thing called it was, I think the band was called Omega, but there was an album called The Diva Station that I had the cassette tape and I played the shit out of it. And that was in the 90s. But I did buy the Dynasty album, and we learned I Sure Know Something. We learned that song because I thought that was the one song I thought it had like a cool bass line. Do 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 do. And after Montrose Kiss was embarrassing. Fuck. After fucking Devo, because you know what? Devo actually, they were genius. Devo was something else. They were amazing. No, I would pick Motley Crue over Kiss, Aiden. I really would. And Motley Crue came along when I rebelled very heavily against 80s hair metal. And when the 80s hair metal came along, I was listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan and trying to revive old rock and roll. And then every now and then, something would come out that I liked. They had John Cougar came along. There was Bob Seger. I was sticking with those guys. I was sticking with those guys when the guys were going for the hair metal. And I blamed Eddie Van Halen for a lot of that. And Van Halen was never a huge influence on me because I never played much of their music. Number one, I couldn't play the guitar. I couldn't do the guitar stuff, but no way. About the only thing I could get away with was their version of You Really Got Me, and it ended up sounding like the Kinks anyway. And for a while, we did Ain't Talking About Love because that wasn't that tough of a song, but it just wasn't that good of a song. It didn't do anything for me playing it. It really didn't. Devo was ready for COVID-19 before anybody else. The what shall be unnamed, the name that shall be remain unnamed virus, the virus. We can cure each and every virus on your device. Thank you very much. Just give me your account number, please. Put in your password. Just wait a moment. Disconnected call. Yeah. Why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Yeah. They reference Jackie Cooper in that song when I think they fucked up and they meant Gary Cooper. Because I've watched probably 4 or 5 Gary Cooper movies in the last few days. And I was always a huge... Oh, does he say Gary Cooper? Okay, well, then he got it right. Because Gary Cooper was the guy. Gary Cooper was the man. I mean, and if you... I found this channel on Amazon or this thing where I found all these old Westerns from the 50s and even back to the 40s. And if you can find the Gary Cooper movie, The Hanging Judge, I think it's called The Hanging Judge, or it might just be called Judge Roy Bean, but I think it's called The Hanging Judge. This movie is so old and in black and white, and Walter Brennan plays Judge Roy Bean. Maybe it's not Walter Brennan, but it's somebody a lot like Walter Brennan. But it is such a good movie, and it gets kind of gets funny sometimes. Like their special effects are they're awful, but they frickin' work perfectly. Can't afford tickets. Walked home down Centinela to Culver City. Cops stopped and asked what we were doing. We told them, and they just shook their heads. 3 a.m., 2 teen kids out. What? Buying tickets for what? We are not men. We are Devo. Kiss Montrose in 1976. Wow. All right, and let me guess. Montrose was the opening act. I'll bet Montrose was the opening act, which is sad, but they didn't have the stage show that Kiss had. Kiss was blowing shit up and smoke coming out of Ace's guitar. And they had all the good stuff. And I was never a gimmick guy. I didn't like gimmicks. Sonia, how you doing? I'll tell you what, the most bizarre thing I had ever seen when it came out was the album cover to Aladdin Sane, David Bowie, with the lightning bolt across his face. And another one was the one with Edgar Winter, with it's just his face with his hair flying back on the album cover, and he's made up to look like a woman. And it was like, that was just freaky wild shit, you know? That was freaky wild shit. Well, of course Bowie rocks. Bowie always did rock. I always loved the album that had changes on it. Changes. Turn and face the strange changes. Always loved that stuff, man. Then, you know, here we go. Here's another tangent. Then progressive rock came out. Okay? And for me, it started with bands like, and maybe they weren't progressive, but I thought they were, or considered them to be, was like Uriah Heep came out. And we heard Uriah Heep and Easy Living, right? And that type of sound. Then comes Roundabout by Yes. Then you get that Yes album, Close to the Edge, or whichever one, Yes songs. And you listen to that, and you're like, holy crap. Then we got Tarkus, okay? And Trilogy by Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Lucky Man on it. And Tarkus was just a lot of weird shit. Then fucking here comes Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Brain Salad Surgery and Carnival 9. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. And bam, mind blown. Mind absolutely blown. And when you're in the basement trying to learn Aerosmith and Bad Company songs, and we didn't even go down that road yet. You know, a Bad Company and Aerosmith and all that stuff, but the stuff that a 4-piece rock band was trying to play. And see, Boston was always out of reach because vocally. There were the vocals and the keyboards. So for us, for me and my group and my friends, Boston was great. And we could get through like the first verse of More Than a Feeling. And then it would just fall apart. And then there was no more Boston we could do. But when you're down, I saw Emerson, Lake and Palmer in like 74 or 75 in Cleveland. And it was so insane. And the problem is I was on substances that absolutely ruined the concert for me. But you know, you're trying to play Bad Company, Can't Get Enough of Your Love and Bad Company, and you're trying to play Train Kept a Rolling and Same Old Song and Dance and Adam's Apple and whatever by Aerosmith and Toys in the Attic. And then freaking Emerson, Lake and Palmer comes out with, spinning pianos and drum sets and fireworks and Brain Salad Surgery. And now what? You know, everybody wants to be a keyboard player now. Everybody wants a synthesizer. We didn't even know what a synthesizer was. We didn't even know what a fucking Moog was. We had no clue. And unbelievable, you know, just unbelievable. And yes, Ian Anderson, that guy's voice, one of my favorite songs to this day. Two of them, my two favorite Yes songs are Perpetual Change and I've Seen All Good People. I've seen all good people turn their heads each day. I love that song. And the lyric, the vocal, the guitar in that song, the mandolin thing that he plays, it's not even a mandolin, it's some kind of medieval fucking lute bullshit that he plays in the intro and that. And Perpetual Change, that song is just amazing. What's that one song they do? It's not Syphilis. It's oh God. They got a song with a title like Chlamydia or something. That was Trilogy, the white one with the dove on it that was called Lucky Man, wasn't it? Then there was Trilogy, where they had their three faces on the front. The one with the white dove, that was just Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That was just their, I think that was their debut. That is, don't surround yourself with yourself. Move on back 2 squares. Move on back a square. Send an instant karma to me. Initial it with loving care. Take a straight and stronger course to the corner of your life. Make the path we run so right. She hasn't got time to make you wise. Oh, Chris Squire on the bass, absolutely. Just amazing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Roundabout was great too. That was the first Yes song I heard was Roundabout. Oh yeah, we listened to Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa, to me, I wasn't comprehending it. I was listening to Dynamo Hum, and what he was singing about, and some of the other shit. I was listening to the shit that Frank Zappa was singing about, and I really didn't get the musicality of it for a long, long time. It took me a while. It took me a while to appreciate Frank Zappa. And Frank Zappa is the grandfather of shred guitar. There's no doubt about it. He was shredding until he needed someone that could shred better, because he couldn't shred enough to satisfy himself, so he got Steve Vai to shred for him. And, Frank Zappa could stand up to anybody on guitar. And actually, all Frank Zappa needed was a drumstick, a bicycle wheel, and some pots and pans to make music. The guy could do it out of literally freaking anything. Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. Then another one of my big guitar influences, where I learned all kinds of tons of their music, on the first couple albums, Tyranny and Mutation and Secret Treaties. Come on, people. Secret Treaties, Tyranny and Mutation. Who am I talking about? Don't make me give it away with Agents of Fortune. How you do, Paul Lou? Axis, hey, what's up, buddy? I saw your video today. You guys are getting it. Tyranny and Mutation, Secret Treaties, Clue, Blue Oyster Cult. That's exactly it. Yeah. Ding, 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 we have a winner. I won't be able to play it. Hold on. I choose to steal what you choose to show. And I will not apologize. You're mine for the taking. I'll make it a career of evil. I'll make it a career of evil. Axis, the Boston tune, the Boston song. And we were just talking about that. I never spent a lot of time learning Boston, because they were so out of reach. I'm gonna watch the Skinner one. I saw that one too. I saw it was there, but I did watch the Boston one. The Boston was so out of reach vocally for us, and then with the keyboards, it just. Yeah, soft white underbelly. That's what they go out in disguise. They go out as soft white underbelly in disguise. And they would show up at bars and stuff, and people wouldn't even know who they were. It was a secret show. Yeah, I could never play any Boston because I couldn't get a freaking guitar sound. I remember a friend of mine buying the Rockman when the Rockman came out. And he plugged that fucker into his Marshall, and all it did was screech and scream and make noise. And it was like, dude, that's awful. That's fucking terrible. Oh, you got to know how to use it. Oh, well, you need to learn. You ought to post some of your photos if you can, if they're not like licensed or owned by somebody other than you. That Rockman Guitar Meets Science. And back in the day when he bought that, and I thought it was a piece of cheap plastic fucking junk. Because it had a belt clip, and like you put it on your belt or you could put it on your guitar strap. And the thing was huge. It was like this big. It was really fucking big. And it had these wires and headphones coming out and shit. And it was like, I was like, you kidding me? I can't use that. King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. The Mercurial #6 talks about that stuff, and he talks about Tame Impala. And I tell you what, man, just listening to what he played on his channel, I couldn't get past it. I couldn't care less. I don't know. Still have a Rockman bass ace. I don't know if I listened to King Gizzard, if I could like warm up to it. I don't know. I'm so old school and so uneducated that probably not. Well, Axis, back then, he didn't get it. He took a 100-watt Marshall head, already cranked the fuck up and overdriven to beat hell, and then plugged his Rockman thing into it and cranked all those freaking knobs up, and it was just awful. Yeah, stay on the skateboard and play guitar with a Rockman at the same time. Yes, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is a band name. Yes, they are. And the Mercurial #6 calls Tame Impala. And it's like Impala. It's an animal. Okay. I mean, as far as I can tell from the spelling, because it's spelled just like a Chevy Impala. All right. So Tame Impala, whatever. But yeah, King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard and the Lizard Wizard, Gizzard, Gizzard. I don't know. I saw a thing on Facebook. A guy had a band called Crowbar. That is just a perfect band name, an outstanding band name. So I'm like, oh, what could we use? Let's see. Crowbar. How about nail pullers? No, that don't work. Screwdriver. No. Paint scraper? No, that doesn't work. The only one I could come close with is claw hammer. You know, but he took crowbar. He got crowbar. He got the best one. He got the best one out of the bunch. He got crowbar. Strawberry Alarm Clock was cool. They were back in the day. That was Eric Carmen, wasn't it? Please go all the way. I feel so good. Or were they Incense and Peppermint? Incense and Peppermint. Yeah, a Strawberry Alarm Clock was Incense and Peppermint, I think. Eric Carmen was with the raspberries. Oh, strawberries. Ed King from Leonard Skinner. Well, I saw just the other day a thing on Facebook posted by a band using the name Crowbar, and the only thing I could come up with was like nail set. No, that ain't good. Would be claw hammer or sledgehammer, and sledgehammer. Then you've got the Peter Gabriel thing going there. You know, claw hammer might not be too bad depending on what kind of music you were doing. I'll tell you another band name that I liked, and I liked some of their stuff, was Clutch. The Clutch. I liked that name. I like Clutch. I like Crowbar. Some other band names like that were just kind of cool, you know. Why does it hurt when I pee? Yeah, Frank Zappa. Because you got prostate cancer, bitch, and you're dying. No, Crowbar is a guy that hangs around Dave Levine's channel. Crowbar, crow, like pry bar. I guess. All right, Dwight, thanks, man. I guess if you were kind of teeny bopperish, old school shit, you could call a band Skate Key. Would be cool. Skate Key. Shark Fin would be a cool name. We did this one night. We did this is about a year ago or so. We went through band names for like a winery band. And we come up with some really good ones, but the winery band never materialized. I never got the winery band together because I couldn't get anybody to fucking cooperate. And everybody just wants to play whatever, old school rock. My guitar player keeps coming over here with this bizarre shit. What song did he mention to me today? Oh, what he told me a song today. I heard this on the radio. We need to do this. And I was like, I fucking hate that song, Jerry. What was it? I can't remember. But he'll come up with these things. All right, Jimmy. Thanks for stopping in, man. I'm gonna end it here in a minute or two. He'll come up with these songs, and I love the guy. I've known him since I was a little kid. We've been friends since I was little. But he'll come up with these songs, and I'll just go, Jesus Christ, Jerry, what are you thinking? Oh, my God. I was in a band called 7 Foot Mustache. Well, at least that is unique, okay? That is... You don't have to worry about, you stepping on anybody's name on that one. Dizzy Cowabunga, that ain't bad. It's all subjective. It all really is, and it depends on the kind of music you're doing, where you're playing, where you live, where you're at. It's 9 p.m. on the West Coast, you fucking pussies. Yeah, it's midnight here, 12:02. Aiden, Larry, Daryl, and Cheryl was the weirdest name. We always had names like Chaser, Tracer, Fixer. We were in a band called Ghost Rider for a while. I was in a band called Ghost Rider for a long time. And that got fucked with because guy tried to copyright it, and there were somebody had already copyrighted or trademarked Ghost Rider, so he had to call it Ghost Rider Express. But we never called it Ghost Rider Express. That's what it was trademarked at. We just called it Ghost Rider. The Hush band, and that's the band we're using now. And that was all because way back in 1992, no, 89 or 90 or 91, whenever it was, the drummer thought that if we named the band like Hush, made it sound like Rush, rhymed it with something that was a big name at the time, that it would help us. We didn't do any Rush. Obviously, we didn't play any fucking Rush. But, you know, that was his idea, and the name never caused us any problems. And then we did away. I said, I'm done with Larry, Daryl, and Cheryl. I can't do that anymore. You know, it's been 6 years. I can't do that anymore. And we were trying to come up with a name, and we had to give a guy a name to book. And Fred goes, why don't we just use Hush? I said, fuck it, just use it. Let's go ahead and use it. It's fine by me. I'm good with it. Question mark in the Mysterians, yeah. Aiden. Yeah, that would be a cool name, wouldn't it? 96 Tears. Let me cry 96 tears on that one. The Cherry Pie album, Vertical Smiles. Yeah. Well, it would have to be verticals this way, horizontals this way. No, that wouldn't have went over good. Oh, glad they had a producer step in on that one, or a manager or somebody. We used Hush because it was already a band name that we had already used, and we just couldn't think of anything that suited us. You know, what are we going to call it? Fucking old people that suck? I mean, it started to become a joke. We were coming up with names like Limping Biscuit. You know, what are you going to do? There's two people in this band that are closer to 70 than they are 65. Okay. So, you know, it just, what are you going to do? And like I said, had fully intended, once again, I'm going live with Linda, and life gets in the way, and I dressed the frets on that G&L guitar neck today, and I could have took some video of that, but who gives a shit about dressing frets? You know, there's a million videos of that out there, and if he would have brought the guitar over instead of just the neck, I would have put the guitar together and strung it up and had him hang around and played a couple songs with Jerry. You know, me and Linda and Jerry and a drum machine. But at some point when this shit's over, and you guys got me laughing so hard my nose is running. But when this crap is over, we're going to get on the live, you know, YouTube live thing with the band, because the resort that we play at, they canceled their 4th of July. Mother's Day was when they open. It's the big opening is Mother's Day. Nothing's going to open. Nothing. Can't open any restaurants. Can't open any bars. The only thing that's going to be open is the frickin' golf course. I don't think they can open the campgrounds either. So you don't even have that. There's not going to be anybody there. So we could end up just really not having a whole lot. They're talking it could be July or early August before everything is finally officially lifted. That's when the season's winding down. By the time you get into August, you've got two more big events. You've got Labor Day and you've got Thunder on the Strip that comes after Labor Day. They usually do it a week or two after Labor Day. And the season's done. So by the time once you get past the 4th of July, there's not many big events left. You've got at the beginning you got Mother's Day, you've got Memorial Day, you've got Father's Day, you've got this day, you've got that day. Then Labor Day. You got 4th of July, and then you got Labor Day, and then they've got their Thunder on the Strip. And if they've already canceled the 4th of July fireworks, what's that leave left out of your summer? Not much. And I'm getting 0 calls, nothing. Nobody's calling. Nobody's booking. And I talk to these people because I've played for all of them for years, and they're just like, we can't do anything, Ed. I don't want to book anything because I'll just have to cancel you. And it's like, I don't care. If it gets canceled, well, let's just write it down. Let's write them down. And if it gets canceled, it gets canceled. And they're like, well, we don't even know if we're going to open. So it's just an unwillingness on their part to even put it on the books because they just don't know what they're going to do. And I know a lot of the old places that have been there for 50 or 60 years, they will weather the storm. They will be back. But some of the other bars that have recently been sold in the last year, and there's 2 of them that I know for sure, maybe 3, that just changed owners and didn't have such a good summer last summer because they went and fucked it up and tried to do something different than what the bar used to be. If they'd have just left it alone, not even told anybody that they changed hands, they would have been fine. And then they could have transitioned out easy. But no, they went in and changed everything and tried to make it something all brand new and failed. Had a terrible season. And those 2 bars might not come back. They could not come back. And somebody could scarf up those 2 liquor licenses and move them to a different part of the Strip. Who knows? Kev, sometimes some of these liquor licenses, they're like location specific. It is for this location right here, and you can't move the liquor license anywhere else. And then other ones are not. It just you've got to have one of the available licenses, and then you can wherever you can license. If you can pass inspection for a bar or whatever, you can open a bar. Have you ever met anybody that uses a guitar as a violin bow? No. Amp capo. No, they can't identify as an essential business. Bars are not considered essential. And they're letting bars do takeout here if they have a kitchen and they serve food. They're letting them do it on a takeout basis. But if you just have a bar that doesn't really serve food, and then some of these places at Geneva on the Lake, they've got a seasonal license. But the license is only good for high-powered liquor from Mother's Day and Labor Day. And then after that, the interview with Robbie Krieger, yeah, that's pretty good. With Joe Chambers, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Rock and Roll Museum. But it's a seasonal license. And now we're in Ohio. We got liquor stores, but they sell liquor at grocery stores, high-powered liquor. But the bars in this resort have a seasonal license where they can only have high-powered liquor from Mother's Day to Labor Day. Then the rest of the year, all they can have is beer, wine, and low-powered liquor. So like 40% vodka, not the high-proof shit. So they just, they're dead before they start. There's nothing they can do about it. They're dead before they start. Oh yeah, no available liquor licenses. Yeah, one comes up available, man. It's going to go to the highest bidder, and it's probably going to go quick. I can imagine that. I used to use the mic stand for a slide. I used to do that, not for anything relevant, but I'd stick it up there and go and grab some notes, get a little lick in there. I used to do that. I was big on doing that. I banged up some guitar frets doing that. Certainly banged up some guitar frets doing that. I banged the frets up on my Gretsch to where it was, put a dent in the fret. Use the swirly gig as a slide. You're better off using the Pabst can than the swirly gig. Oh my. You know, if you look around, there's good music. It's out there. One of the things that I've seen here lately, and I'm not knocking anybody, I'm not trying to, but everybody's going live like on Facebook. And I have not, I did 2 songs and they were both kind of a joke. I did the theme song to Squidbillies, and then I did the song Ariel by Dean Friedman on Facebook Live, and it was real quick things. But I see all these people I know and people that I'm friends with going on Facebook, and you just like, you go, oh my God, you know, oh my God. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. It's hard enough. It's tough enough to get people to listen. It's tough enough to get people to pay attention. And if you do that and fail, if you know, you do the Facebook Live thing and you fail, where do you go from there? You know, just where do you go? And I don't want to be that guy, because like I said, it's tough enough. It's already a rough, the tough world out there, boys. Tough stuff. It's a rough world. It's a mad, mad world. Yeah. Hotel California and Freebird. Good luck with that, buddy. Well, because Kev, they weren't sequestered in their house, and they were allowed to go make millions and hundreds of thousands of billions of zillions of fucking dollars at some TV fucking event or some place, you know. Why would they do it on YouTube? I haven't really ran across a whole lot of big people doing it on YouTube, but I know they are. I know that they are. Dr. Demento's greatest hits. Glenn Fricker tried that. And at the last fucking minute, Dr. Demento pulled the plug on him and said, nope, you can't use my show. And that was after he initially had gotten like the okay. So that was kind of crap. That was kind of crap. I don't get no respect. My dad used to say, Ed, I think there's a shark out there. Swim out and check. Yeah, I'm cool. I pull it off. Glenn's not cool. Yeah, Glenn's Glenn. Glenn is Glenn. All right, you guys. It's 20 after 12. I don't know who Fish is. Samantha Fish? You know, I ran across Nikki Tedesco, and I was watching her live stream tonight. And I got a feeling Nikki Tedesco is bigger than I think she is. So I don't know. Up here in New Hampshire. Yeah, Nikki's good. She was doing a live thing tonight. She does like punk. She writes punk songs. Hey, everybody, Craig, Sonia, Aiden, Alex, Dogpa, Kev, Guitar Meets Science, Craig Flowers, Axis, Michael Cross, Dogpa, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, making it. I swear to God, Jimmy Biter, Merrill, thanks. I swear to God, we're going to go live. We're going to go live and play some music. Got a new blues tune I want to do, so it's in the key of G minor. So, all right, let's see if I can end this stream and not lose the stream to the channel. So, everybody be safe.